Okay, this is my second attempt at a live this morning, so welcome everybody. I'm just going to wait for some people to join. I'll just wait a few moments. Okay, just waiting for some people to join, and this one is working. So this is really, really unexpected. I apologise for the way I look, the way I sound. I'm not too well at the moment, but it doesn't stop the calling. I realise now it doesn't matter if you're not well. If you get called to come on, you just have to. So here we are. Yeah, my intention of this live is just to give some guidance, some support, help, practical help, in case it helps you navigate these days, next week. Sometimes it's really, really hard for us to know how to respond to people. These can be the people we pass by in the street, our family, our friends, our loved ones. Sometimes, we can talk about all of this stuff, but how do you actually navigate and honor yourself in such a massive timeline, as well as assisting and supporting others? How do you do both at the same time? I think we learn the hard way, don't we? All of us. But this is why I'm doing the live, is just to try and give out my perspective, my way of supporting myself and others. I have acute awareness this morning of the timeline we're in, how significant it is. And this has really started since Saturday, and then Sunday we absorbed and are still absorbing massive, massive energies. And there's two ways that can go for you. You can expand with it, even though it's hard, okay? It's difficult. It's a lot of energy to absorb. You can expand with it, or you can go like that. And that's why I'm on. That's what I'm trying to support with. Some practical ways of being with people, helping people, but at the same time, honoring yourself. Okay. So, we're in a very big period of inner expansion. This is energetic expansion. This is you rising in hertz frequency, higher and higher. And what that does is it brings in higher consciousness, so that you operate as a human being at a higher level of consciousness. And we're in this at the moment. It feels to me as if we have a massive, massive shift ahead of us, a consciousness shift ahead of us. And not everybody is going to know that. There's going to be millions of people on the planet unaware of that. The greatest thing, and I'm going to, before I start giving out advice, is just to say, if this doesn't resonate with you, if it seems wrong for you, just pass it by, leave it be. It's only my perspective, and I know when my perspective won't resonate with everybody. So just leave it be, and then find somebody out there that is kind of closer to your own perspective. That's the greatest thing you can do, is to not listen to all the advice, but to just see what feels right for you, what resonates for you, what feels good, what feels easy. So I'm saying that before I start giving my advice out, in the hope it may help even just one person. The greatest thing any one of us can do, if we're in awareness right now, is, as my dear friend Melissa Dehan would say, has said many a time, just be in your own lane. So in other words, my way of saying that would be focus on your own path right now. Whatever is happening to you inside you, be with that. Not the outside. Whatever is happening on your outside, it's not to be with that. It's to turn inward and be present for the energies that have been pouring in since Saturday, and to just be with that. Honor yourself, honor your space, honor what's happening to you. That's the primary importance. But there's two things. We're going to help ourselves and we're going to help others, yeah? So I'm just talking about the first part, about helping yourself. The greatest thing any one of us can do on this planet is empower. Become enlightened en masse. Many, many, many people. The greatest thing we can do is raise our energetic frequency, which is what these energies are bringing and bringing and bringing for years now. Because from that we become higher states of consciousness. We don't use our mind in the same way that we're used to using the human mind, which means we can give in new ways to everyone and everything, but from the heart, not from the mind. So right now, the greatest thing you and I can do is just be with our own inner experiences. Be present for them. What that could mean is, excuse me, just feeling how it feels within you, feeling energy, allowing yourself to feel the energy coursing through you and let that expand. Because when you take your awareness to anything, you're creating more of it. So if you take your awareness inside to your own energy, you're then in your own field, your own sovereign field. And you're therefore saying yes to it. You're giving your will to it. So what happens is it becomes more and more. If you take your awareness to the outside, you're going to create more of whatever you're taking your attention to on the outside. We are the creators. It's really, sometimes it's easy to forget that we are creating our own individual realities together. So in this timeline, whatever is coming to you, and I know a lot of people watching this are awake, they have experiences that get given to them individually. Whatever that is, to be with it, to give that attention to yourself, because that's what's calling you right now. It truly is, for your own expansion. Because as I say, I feel that there is going to be a massive leap ahead of us. I'm not sure when, but it's strong. It's a strong feeling I have. And some of the signs I got last week are pointing to the same thing. The sign I got on Saturday is pointing to the same thing. I just don't know when. But the signs say again and again and again. We are right now embodying more energy. We're rising in frequency to become higher consciousness states of human being. And if you allow yourself space, time to be with yourself, and the signs that you get, the information you get, however that comes to you, that's what's going to empower you. Not what I say, not what anybody else says, not by copying somebody else. That doesn't empower you. You empower you. You do. You always had the power within you. It's not outside of you. You're just waiting for yourself to realize that. So the greatest thing anyone could do is turn inward to themselves. That's how we empower. We don't empower from the outside or by someone. And this time, yesterday, my goodness, the energies were just off the charts. This timeline is really a huge, loud clarion call to you to give yourself the attention, to turn inward and give yourself your time to be with you and allow whatever comes to direct you. Because everyone on the planet gets their own instructions. You know, if we jump ahead to different timelines that are to come, imagine lots of different people all over the planet getting their own instructions of what to do. Yeah? Nobody's telling you what to do in these timelines ahead. You are your power. You are your sovereignty. You have your inner instruction manual. You turn up where you're supposed to turn up, not where people tell you to turn up. You do what is called within you to do, not what somebody else is saying, do this, do that. It doesn't work that way. That's the old paradigm. All the information you ever need on a day-to-day basis is already within you, and it's just us rising to actually realize that truth. So in this timeline, there is the potential for great distraction, as I said in the last live. So imagine rising in frequency. Imagine receiving your guidance, your signs, your awareness from you outside in the reality. Everybody is at different levels of understanding, layers upon layers upon layers of reality. And the potential distraction for any one of us right now can take us away from what we should be doing, which is expanding our energy. And that's it right now, because that is what's being given to us right now. We're being given our own energetic expansion. And it's a lot of energy to receive. But if you just allow yourself to flow with it and let go, and just let go, not even try and work it out, but just relax and just let go, it's so much easier to be with if you struggle with the amount of energy. If you struggle, let go. And watch how you flow. Feel what it feels like to just let go and surrender to yourself, to your inner being that is peace. Not everybody is going to be able to do this right now. There's a lot of people out there that are going to be in turmoil, in mayhem, in upset to various degrees. And we knew all along this would happen. So I want to try and just give practical ways of being there for people, but at the same time, not losing your own power, not losing your own state, not losing your energy, and still be there. When you see people, when they start talking to you, the first thing to recognize really is that they're on their own path, and trust that. Trust their path, no matter how it looks, no matter what stress or turmoil they seem to be in. The first thing you can do to help yourself stay in your own balance is to recognize and honor their soul as being on its own path and trusting their path. That will help you stay in your power. Instead of, what we can do is see a human being in front of us, and then what happens to us is we drop into our human, and then we're disempowered. So stay in your highest state of consciousness or your highest frequency by just knowing that their path is perfect for them. They've designed it. Their soul has designed their life, this lifetime. Trust the bigger picture. Second part. When people are desperate, upset, in turmoil in front of you, to just wait until they ask a question. It's going to happen anyway, but people are going to dish out advice because that's what the personality does. The personality or the ego part of the mind is always ready and willing to give advice to another person. But on the path, we let go of more and more and more of the ego, more of the personality. We let go of it. It's only the personality and the ego that seeks to give advice to another. So the thing to do is to just wait, because you don't need to give advice. When they have a question, they will ask it. They'll ask you. And really, whatever their question is, it's never about their question. It's about why do they need to know the answer to that question. And so if somebody asks you a question, it really is, why do you need to know X, Y, Z? That is what is really going on inside of them, not the question. In other words, there's another layer inside them that is going on that they're not addressing, they're not seeing, they're not facing. So it's really, why do you need to know the answer to that question? What's going on inside you where you need to know the answer to that? And it will be that they're feeling this, or they're feeling that, or they're worried about this, or they're frightened about that. And that's where you get to the core of what's behind the question. It's a fear, it's a worry, it's a concern, it's a not knowing. It's never about the question. So to just try and stay in your own state, whatever that was, whatever frequency you're in, to try and stay in it by not immersing yourself in their story. Again, on the path, on the awakening path, if you think of this as the unawakened mass of people, what we do as we awaken more and more and become more consciousness is we kind of distance ourselves. We kind of see and see and see from a greater distance than this mass of personality and humanness. And we see from over here. So what we're trying to do is stay here in the highest frequency to assist here, if that makes sense. And not immerse ourselves, not drop down into our own personality and try and assist, because we'll struggle then. We'll struggle. We'll drop frequency and become the personality that then reacts. So it's to try and stay distant, energetically, mentally distant from the person that is in turmoil. It's not a lack of care. I want to emphasize that. It's not that you don't care. It's just you have the higher wisdom to not immerse yourself into the illusion and become your own personality once more, because then you'll just react to the person that's in turmoil. So then you'll just lower your own frequency. You'll lower your own energy by reacting to their story and their turmoil. when the greatest thing anyone can do, and in fact that's the whole of this ascension, is to raise frequency. So in other words, you're hoping to stay in your own energetic field and allow others their story, allow others their life, allow them their experience, trusting their soul, trusting their soul has got their back, and actually you've got your back, you've got their back from over here, you've got their back, you're holding them from over here. You're not descending your energy into your personality frequency that can't truly be of too much use in these timelines, because you'll just react from your human emotions, your human mind, your human mentality, when the greatest thing you can do is hold them from here. So you can be with someone and just hold space, listen, but be in your own awareness of how your energy is when you're listening. Is your energy starting to drop? Because if it is, you're starting to go into their story, which is theirs. So what to do if your energy starts to drop? I mean, this is everyday stuff. It happens to all of us. Maybe people talk about this, I don't know. I don't really read too much or watch too much at all now, but maybe people have, assisted with this. But what to do in those situations where you are with people and you notice your energy dropping? It is about honouring your energy frequency. So you're going to stay in that situation where your energy has dropped. Does that honour you? That's what you have to ask yourself. Does it honour you? And we're not talking about ego here. We're talking about, a conscious being that's neutral. Are you serving your greatest purpose by staying in that situation? If you're not sure what to do in those situations, it could be you're on the street, it could be you're in a cafe, it could be you're in a room in a house with people, it could be on the phone. You can just say something that allows you to come out of that space in order to gather yourself. So if you're with someone, you could just say, look, I need to go to the bathroom. Just please excuse me. I need to go to the bathroom right now. And get out of the situation so that you can regroup yourself and have some moments to yourself to think, okay, I can't cope in this situation. What shall I do? Shall I leave or shall I stay? What's the highest thing to do? So you're just giving yourself some space to think. If you can't go to the bathroom as an excuse, just say, okay, I just need some fresh air right now. I'm really hot, or, I just need some fresh air. And take yourself out of this situation just for a couple of minutes. You're not harming them by doing that. And then give yourself that quiet space to think, well, should I stay here right now? Or should I just make my excuses and leave the situation? And if you give yourself that little bit of space and time, you can decide what is the highest thing for you to do. It may be to stay, it may be to go. And just honour that. I'm going to say something now which I know can be perceived in different ways. We're not here to save individuals. Not in that personality to personality way. We're not here for that. We are here to help everyone, including those individuals, but not in the human way of the way people think help is given. This is an energetic help. We help by raising our frequency and our consciousness, and that takes us out of the polarity field, which means we come from neutrality, we come from love. And this is happening one by one by one by one, all over the world, which is what the change is about. It's always about having your eye on that bigger picture of why you've actually come, what you've signed up for, what your soul has agreed to in this lifetime. And it's not about the small stuff. It's about the big stuff. It's about the big picture. Because what can happen, especially in this timeline, is that you've been on your path. You've done a lot of work on yourself. You've raised your frequency. And what can potentially happen in this timeline is others will grab you and pull you down because they're struggling, because they just can't cope. Now, is that going to help everyone? For you to be pulled down into a lower energetic frequency where you're in the Maya along with other people? Is that the highest service? Is that what's going to help you? No, it's not. It's to have awareness of the highest action in any moment. So that highest action might be that you're listening to somebody, allowing them to use their voice and speak. That might be the highest action, to just sit there and listen to someone. As long as your frequency doesn't drop. So always watch your frequency. Is my frequency lowering? Why is it lowering? Oh, it's lowering because I'm going into my personality as I'm listening to them. That's why it's lowering. So you just lift yourself out of your personality and just be the observer of the one talking. Because in truth, it doesn't actually matter what they say. And that's a bit of a shock probably for some people to hear, but it doesn't. What matters is the energy. If you cannot focus too much on the words they're saying while you're holding space, you'll maintain your energy. So be slightly apart from the person. You're still in the room with them, you're still listening to them, but you're not being absorbed into their story and their drama and their stress. The greatest thing you can do is not be absorbed, because it's not your story, it's theirs. It's their soul path. It's their experiences that they've chosen. The greatest thing you can do is just be here honouring that. Just honour it from this space of neutrality. Because as soon as a person drops frequency, they go into their personality, they go into this person's story, and then this person that was over here now has an opinion, now is in polarity, now is in a lower frequency. And then this person walks away and they go, oh, I was fine before, but I'm not now. Why? Because you've immersed into somebody else's story. We all have our own story. Be in your power. Be in your own field. And if you don't know how to do that, stop looking on the outside and look inside. And I really mean that. You know, these are phrases people use, and sometimes I know, especially newly awakened, you think, well, what on earth does that mean? Be on the inside, not the outside. Okay, let's try and say it a different way. Our eyes look outward, don't they? So I'm looking right now out of the window. So my eyes are looking on the outside. Now imagine doing the same practice, but turning those eyes inward into my being. All of a sudden the outside doesn't exist. There's an acute awareness, an acute focus on this world inside of me. Now you can have the mind racing away, jibber-jabbering. So just become aware of the mind talking. aware of it racing, and just come out of that race and just be aware of the thoughts racing, and ask yourself to stop thinking as fervently. Ask yourself for your own silence. Drop into your silence. So in other words, the inner world is where the expansion comes from. The inner world is what is calling everyone. Everyone. Whether they're awake or asleep, that inner world is calling them right now. But not everybody knows that. So what happens is they go blah to the outside, because they don't know that actually they can neutralize that. They can come into their own peace. They can find their own answers if they turn inward. And from that inner world, where we go to again and again and again, because we eventually know that's where it comes from that inner world, we then expand out, but as a newer version of ourselves, a newer version. And that newer version has a higher energetic frequency, which therefore equates to simultaneously a higher consciousness. So a different perception, a less limited perception. So in this time, be aware of what I said last week, the boiling point. It's simmering away. People are not being able to cope too well. And the greatest thing we can all do is hold our frequency and be there. It is a support, it is a service, but to not get embroiled into somebody else's story, because that's all it is. It's a journey, it's a story for them to find themselves. Trust everybody's path. And know when to stay and be there for somebody and when to walk away. What is the highest answer in that situation? Is it to stay? Is it to comfort, but not in a disempowering way, not from our ego? Is that comfort just in the listening? Because if a person has a question, they will ask you. When a person is ready to ask a question, they will ask. When they're ready to receive the answer, they will ask. If we dish out lots and lots of advice that a person's not ready for, guess what the reaction will be? Because they're not ready for it. They will ask when they're ready. Our only job is to hold the space, to emit the love, to just be you, to have the courage to be you. And then they will see that version and wonder how on earth you're able to be that peace, that love. How on earth do you do that when there's so much chaos in the world? And that's what they're seeking. They're seeking that of themselves. So to just know, watch your energy, choose who you give your time to, choose who you give your energy to. And you will know, because your energy will just start to dip. And then just be in your own awareness of yourself that your energy is dipping. Okay, what choice shall I give myself now? Shall I stay or shall I go? What's the highest thing to do? Yeah? Otherwise, if you just be, which, we've all been, I could write a book on it, being there for others. That's been my life. I've always been the listener. Always. Ever since a child. But what we have to do is not allow what's happening on the outside to drain our energy, because then we're of no use or service to ourselves, and therefore we're of no use and service to anyone or anything or any kingdom if our vibration is being lowered. So I hope that helps somehow. Just listen to yourself, your inner teachings that you teach you. It's not about what anyone says on the outside. All of that is going to go. If we fast forward to the timeline we're approaching, nobody will be teaching anybody. Not in that way, not in the traditional spiritual way. Nobody will be giving any phrases to repeat, because this empowers you. If you wish your own for affirmations, phrases, find yours from within your heart. The greatest, most powerful affirmations, prayers, words you can give to your journey are your own words, affirmations, feelings. I mean, look how it feels just to even say that to you. It's so empowering. Not to repeat the words others say, but to ask and to seek from within you your will. It's your will. That's your greatest power. And when you find your own words to use, you're showing up for yourself. You're not using somebody else's. Feel the difference. I ask you to try it. Use the affirmation that somebody has given you, whether it's a religious order, whether it's a spiritual community. Repeat that affirmation somebody else has written, somebody else has spoken, somebody else has worded out loud to repeat after me. Okay? Do that. And then find your own words from within your heart, and you tell me which is the most empowering, which feels the most empowering, which feels the most connected to Source. And it will be you. It will be your words, your feelings expressed through you. Why? Because you are Source. You're Source within, waiting to be realized from the inside. Turn up for you. Trust you. Have enough faith in yourself to trust your own feelings and your own words and your own way of observing your own journey, not somebody else's. There you go. You know, the whole of this path so far, when I've been sharing, it's always to empower you. For you to empower yourself. That's what it's about for everybody. Trust that. Trust you are it. The moment you do, you expand. I'm just waiting for your own trust in yourself. And what is that really? It's God waiting within you to be self-realized from within you. Self-realized. So, another kind of reason I come on was, there's lots of questions people are asking in these times. So it's not just that people are struggling with their emotions and their reactions and their not knowing and their fears, but the questions are fervent. The mind is going like this, and I'm getting lots and lots of questions. What does this mean? What does that mean? And my answer is, what does it mean to you? Whatever your question, what does the green ray mean? What does 144 mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? What does it mean to you? How does it feel to you? because what it means to me is going to be different to what it means to you. I could tell you what it means to me, but that's not going to empower you. You empower you. So, if you get the number 144 coming up a lot, say yes to it. Whatever your mind focuses on, you get more of. So, if you have the question, what does 144 mean to you? By having the question, by sustaining your question within you, you're saying yes to it, which means you'll get your own answer. And that answer will come to you by your consciousness. Does that make sense? And if you receive something directly to you, that is empowering. It's not empowering for me to give you my perception or my answer, or for somebody else to, because it will only be from that angle. So they're over here, you're over here, someone over here. You'll only get their angles, their perceptions. What matters is yours. So the green ray, you know, for years it's been a significant ray to watch out for me, but there's more to it that I haven't shared. So it's a significant thing for me in two ways, but does that mean it's the same for everybody else? No. What does it mean for you? What does it mean to you? Not by what you've read in books. That's somebody else's perception, but what does it mean to you? Have you had the experience or not? No? Well, that's okay, because you'll have had another experience with maybe another ray, or maybe no rays. Maybe your experiences with sound or vibration or light, or the animal kingdom, or Mother Earth. Yeah, we're all here as different facets of the one. What matters is your experience, what you are gifting to you. Show up for that. And if you have questions, ask them to yourself. This is the greatest way of empowering, okay? If you have questions, ask them to yourself, or even ask, why do I need to know the answer to that? And if you find the answer behind that question, you're going to find something out about yourself that wasn't on the surface showing. And if you have experiences, higher energetic experiences that feel good, that you love, that excite you, that bring you joy, that bring you wonder. Oh my God, look what's just happened. I've just seen a cobalt blue light flash, or anything like that. Anything that feels good, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. And you'll get more of it. The other option, which I would have done unawakened, would be, oh, I'm sure I just saw something there, and then you just leave it be and go about your day, and you kind of ignore it and you forget about it. Well, guess what? Then no more will come, because you're the creator. So you're not creating more of it if you're just ignoring it and going about your day. But if the alternative is, wow, I just saw a cobalt blue light flashing, and then, wow, and you give your attention to it, your focus to it, it's saying yes to it. So guess what? Another cobalt blue light flashes in, and then you wonder at that, at your creation, and then guess what? Another one comes in, and then that's how it works. That's how you create, by what you focus on. So if you have a question, you can focus on the question, and guess what? You'll get your answer if you sustain that focus. Empower yourself. Empower yourself. That's what you've come to do. So I hope that helps. Really be aware, I guess, my message of the flux outside in the reality, and stay in your power. That's the message. Be aware. What's your energy? Does it dip? If so, what should you do? What right action should you take? How much attention are you giving over here? How much attention are you giving over there? Where does your attention need to be so that you're at your highest frequency? And that highest frequency will feel good. You'll feel at peace. You'll feel in joy, in harmony. In harmony. Harmony is the key. If you feel in harmony, you're in the highest alignment in any one moment. If you feel disharmony, you're out of alignment from this part of you that you can be, and this is this part that raises your frequency. So that's the magical point. Okay, I'll leave it there. Just be aware. People are going through it, and they will go through it, and they'll be in despair, turmoil, hysterics. Choose your reaction to that. Be of the greatest service to yourself and all by being aware of your energy. Sometimes the highest answer is actually no answer. Sometimes the greatest thing to do when somebody's talking to you is to not respond. There's always choices. Everything a person says to us does not require an answer. The human thinks it does, but sometimes it's just to hold space and say nothing. Just let them have their journey. Because otherwise, you can find that in answering, you get drained. You get drained down of your energy. Sometimes the greatest thing to do is to say nothing. Let it unfold, let it flow past you. Because every moment is temporary. It will pass. So be in your power. Be in your power. Because you have it within you. Always, in every single moment, you have the power. In every single moment, you could be in turmoil. And in that very moment you're in turmoil, you have the power to turn it around in an instant. That is how powerful you are. Truly. And I'm not saying that as just something to say. I'm saying it because I know it. Because I do that too. Flip it around in an instant. And you go back into being the peace. And from there, you can be of the greatest service. It's what we came to do. We came to embody. Okay. Let me waffle in for one day. I hope that helps somehow. Yelling at me, so yeah, I hope that helps. Keep checking your own as often as you can. Just check in. Let's take care. I love you boys. I'll be back whenever there's some video. So you don't unprecedented right now. It's enough just to observe them and to let them integrate into ourselves. That is more than enough to do and be with and give yourself some space, some fresh air, some time for you, some peace and quiet, however that is for you. It's more than enough just to absorb the energies right now. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.